So if you think you've had a rough day and a poor deer hunt, look what I've had to put up with. Well, I don't know how this is going to record, but I want to show you the wind out here. This is 25 to 30 mile an hour winds. And it just puts a whole new spin on shooting and hunting. You really can't get stable in winds like this. So hunting becomes an issue, but what do you do if it's your only day or you get 2 or 3 days in a row when you're hunting and the winds are this high? Well, you've got to try to find a sheltered spot like I've got here. Believe it or not, this is a little bit sheltered. And you've got to get low to the ground to shoot or the wind's going to blow you around, not just your bullet. And then, of course, you've got your bullet being blown in the winds. And we usually measure our bullet deflection by a wind speed of 10 miles an hour. This is 3 times greater than that, 30 mile an hour winds. And so it's really difficult. I try not to shoot at anything beyond about 100, maybe 200 yards at the most. Then you really need to know your wind drift deflection charts and such. But it just makes for a miserable hunt. It's not enjoyable in the big winds like this, but sometimes you have to do what you have to do. I don't know if you can see it, but that wind is just gusting me, blowing me back, and I'm facing into the wind. To make it a little easier, you need to stay low. Get yourself down like this. Still, when a gust hits me, it really swings me off. Not fun. This is a deer blind. Oh dear. A pretty convenient little blind out in the pastures where my super guide, he laughs. George King has set us up for a sure kill. Yeah. This is an interesting little ditch right along the fence line here, so we're out of the wind, and lordy, do we have a wind. It's like 25 miles an hour yet out there. George actually had a beard before the wind came up. Well, we're set up differently this morning. We're under a tree out in the pasture, sort of in the middle of where all the deer were yesterday. We've got 4 or 5 coming from the north right now. George has already seen a buck up by the old barn where we were sitting yesterday, right up in there. And on the drive in this morning, we saw a really big buck with a doe down in that little strip of trees way out there. I mean, way out there. So there's some good hopes this morning. Got red sky and morning, sailor take warning, but I'm thinking red sky and morning, maybe the deer should take warning. All those first 5 does moved off into the horse pasture, then went past a farmstead over there. No shots. But George here has another bunch coming off a cornfield way out there. And they're heading in the right direction toward the old abandoned farm. So here we sit, waiting for our opportunity. Here they come, George. Here they come. Got him. Yeah, that was a great shot, George. Just dropped him right there. Where were you holding?
What's that?
Where were you aiming?
Front shoulder.
Front shoulder? What bullet?
80 grain.
80 grain what?
80 grain TTSX.
TTSX, tipped triple shock. Oh, it seemed to have shocked him pretty good.
seemed to put him right down.
Yeah. Well, we'll go out there and pick him up after we wait for a doe to come by and I shoot it. How's that sound? So lay low, try not to celebrate too much just yet, because there's some more coming. Well, that worked out. George just got himself a nice buck. All we had to do was sit here and wait for him to come across that big open field. So I just got a doe, and George was the videographer, which is why we don't have any video. He thought he had the on button going, and it so often happens he missed it. Well, I've done that a million times, George. Don't feel bad. We got you dumping that buck, and that's what counts. So we've got a buck down and a doe. So we're going to go do the recovery. See ya. Fell in a ditch. Nice one. That is a nice buck, my friend. You shoot them like that every year?
Every year.
You lie much?
One shot, one kill.
Good job.